All right. Hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It's Nigel once again. So, this past weekend was the open beta for Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, and I played it. It's worth mentioning I did play the closed beta late last year in December of last year. I was one of the few people who got to access the closed beta, and so I was able to play that, but now this is the open beta, open to just about anyone. And this one I played on my PC. I pre-ordered Marvel Tokon for my PC, and we'll get to that. But I pre-ordered Marvel Tokon. Now I'll be honest, I'm not sure if you necessarily needed to pre-order Marvel Tokon to access the open beta. I think it was just open to the public, regardless of whether you pre-ordered the game or not. But I could be wrong. But I had pre-ordered the game, but I was able to access the open beta, and I played it over the weekend. Now I did think about streaming myself playing the open beta. Ultimately, I decided not to, for a couple reasons. For starters, there's and this is based off everything that was available in the open beta. Most of the game was available. There was a couple things like arcade mode and stuff like that that was locked off, but otherwise, mostly everything was available in the open beta. But including playing online. I didn't want to play online because I didn't feel like buying a PlayStation Plus membership. Now it's not because of the current boycott going around, which whether you choose to participate in the PlayStation boycott or not, that is totally up to you. I'm not purposely participating in it. I just haven't touched my PlayStation in a while because I just haven't honestly. But I didn't want to purchase a PlayStation Plus membership because even despite playing on PC, you still do need a PlayStation Plus membership in order to play online, which does kind of suck, I'll be honest. But I guess it was to be expected. But I didn't want to get a PlayStation Plus membership, so I ultimately decided not to. And the other thing was, because they did have the first three chapters of the Amazing Guardians story mode. Oh, so of course, just a recap, and I talked about this in my full roster discussion that I did some time ago. I did that like a few weeks ago or so. The five pre-designated teams, are the Amazing Guardians, that being Miss Marvel, Spider-Man, Penny Parker, and Star-Lord. The Fighting Avengers, that being Black Panther, Captain America, Hulk, and Iron Man. The Knights of Doom, that being Carnage, Doctor Doom, Green Goblin, and Magneto. The Samurai Outriders, that being Blade, Deadpool, Ghost Rider, and Loki. And the Unbreakable X-Men, that being Danger, Magic, Storm, and Wolverine. And in addition, he wasn't part of the open beta, but we did get our first DLC character, Phoenix Cyclops. That was a huge surprise to a lot of people, myself included. Definitely a curveball character. Or like you probably could have predicted Cyclops for DLC. You probably could have even predicted Jean Grey or Phoenix for DLC. But Phoenix Cyclops, that's definitely a curveball, and that means we're probably gonna get some really interesting DLC characters for season one slash year one. But yeah, so those are the teams, but the story mode for the Amazing Guardians was available, but I didn't want to play that, not because as I dislike story mode or anything like that, but mainly because I want to do kind of a playthrough of each story mode on the channel. So we'll be doing that once the game officially releases, which it releases next week. But yeah, so I decided I wouldn't stream the open beta, and I'm kind of glad I didn't. And now I did take down quite a few notes when it comes to what I experienced while playing the open beta. But one thing, and let's address the elephant in the room right away. Lot of issues on PC, and a lot of people were not happy at this, to the point where on like the official like social media page, I saw it on Facebook, but I imagine it was also posted to like their Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that. They had to tell people how to like mess with their settings um in order to get the game running properly. And after I made those changes, the game ran better. It still didn't run great, but it did run better. But my lord, we're not off to a great start. Hopefully, there is 2 weeks. Hopefully, they're able to fix everything. Um, before the launch of the game next week, before the official launch, that is. And also worth mentioning in the open beta, most of the characters here's that I just listed off are present in the game, so you can play as them. And obviously, during the closed beta, it was just the 8 characters that were announced in the reveal trailer for Marvel Tokon, but but most of the roster is here in the open beta. The only characters that were missing were Loki, Deadpool, well, Hulk, and Carnage. So, that means the Amazing Guardians the and the Unbreakable X-Men teams were complete. If you want to play as those designated teams, but obviously you can also mix and match your teams. You don't necessarily have to go with the pre-established, pre-sanctioned teams. You can pretty much pick and choose who you want to, and there was some incentive to that, but we'll get into it. So, issues aside, here are a lot of the other things that am that I was able to note while playing the open beta. So I took down some notes, and so we're gonna go through those here for this video. All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, the first thing that I noted was some of the characters that were my favorite to play as, and I ended up taking down 3. The first being Iron Man, and it's funny because whenever I play Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I find myself not really using Iron Man all that often. Maybe only a handful of times I played as Iron Man. I know some people do like Iron Man in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but I found myself not really playing as him too often. And it's funny because I'm probably gonna use Marvel vs. Capcom 3 footage for the gameplay here in this video. I haven't decided yet which game, but just in case, he's then yeah. But anyway, hey, Iron Man, however, he was really fun to play as, and I remember them talking about his design and everything, even in the announced trailer, excuse me, for Marvel Tokon, talking about how he's like this slick fighter jet, and he's pretty much like a mech. It's Tony Stark, or it's the Iron Man armor, and they literally did, in fact, make it look like a Gundam. Like it feels very much. It has that like anime flavor to it. You can tell throughout the entire game, and that's even with like the opening intro that they showed off as well for the game. But in the case of Iron Man, and he does look really cool, and he was really fun to play as, like getting to use all his different like optic glass and everything. Or not optic glass, that's more Cyclops, but his like repulsor glass and stuff like that. And now super moves, I sadly wasn't able to figure out as much because I kind of suck. But Iron Man, I found myself really enjoying. The second one was Wolverine. I knew I would definitely enjoy being Wolverine because, as going back to Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I do play as Wolverine a lot. Even in like the older Marvel vs. Capcom games, now that we have the collection, I do play as Wolverine quite a bit. Not quite as fast paced as the other game, as the Marvel vs. Capcom games. That's what I meant there, but I couldn't find the words. But not quite as fast paced as the Marvel vs. Capcom games, and again, maybe that's just because I'm not the best yet. I still gotta work. I still gotta work on it, but Wolverine was pretty fun. Sadly, he doesn't do Swiss cheese or or the Tornado Claw or Drill Claw, at least from what I've been able to see. But he was still pretty fun. And then the last one was Blade. Now, oh, Blade, hey, you poor thing. Hey, what you've gone through in the MCU is very unfortunate. And not just his movie being canceled, but also his game being canceled. Well, damn, I guess Wesley Snipes wasn't kidding when he said he was going to be the one and only Blade. But Blade in this game, we at least have him in this game, at least. But Blade was pretty fun to play as and it's even better considering Blade's never been in a fighting game before or so. Oh, this is literally his Marvel fighting game debut, and what a hell of a debut! Like they definitely, you can tell they put a lot of care or time and care into, well, all the characters really, but especially this one on with the sword attacks and everything, and the projectiles. I forget exactly what they're called. Oh, but Blade was also a lot of fun to play as, and really like all the characters I played. I think I played as every character. If not, I might have missed one or two. But all the characters were kind of interesting in their own way and kind of felt unique. And and I guess some honorable mentions would be like Magneto. Magneto was also kind of fun, a little tricky, but Magneto was also kind of fun. Storm was a lot of fun as well, but these were the main three that I had when it comes to my faves. And I can already tell just from the trailer that Deadpool is probably going to be my main. And I don't just mean that because I'm a big fan of Deadpool, but just a lot of the moves and a lot of the mannerisms, very reference heavy, like very much like Deadpool. Well, if he wasn't breaking the fourth wall before, or at this point, he's obliterating the fourth wall. He is beating the fourth wall to an absolute pulp in this game. But uh, I can tell Deadpool's going to be a fun character to play as sadly he was not here in the open beta as I mentioned, uh, but he is definitely going to be fun to play as for sure. But the next thing of interest on the list was the cool team up names. So there are the official team up names, obviously that being, to recap one more time, the Amazing Guardians, the Fighting Avengers, the Knights of Doom, the Samurai Outriders, and the Unbreakable X-Men. But even if you mix and match different characters, you still get some interesting combination of teams. Like you get like the Geniuses, you get the different royalty subsets. You get the Avengers get I think one of them was called like Web Warriors or something like that. I forget exactly, but there was some cool combination team names. Now maybe it doesn't mean a whole lot to a lot of you in the grand scheme of things, but I thought it was a nice, neat little touch, and the fact that it's not just the sanctioned teams, but really any team up can result in some different. Interesting team names. Next up was that the lobby was very interesting and very detailed. I did visit the lobby briefly. Like I said, I didn't play online, but I did visit the lobby briefly and kind of poked around there. There was a lot of detail put into it. Now, if you've played games I think Dragon Ball Xenoverse has like a lobby or something similar, and I want to say Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Um, has something similar, but if you've been in a game like that, you kind of know what to expect when it comes to the lobby. But the amount of detail that was there, and there was like quite a bit. It One of the coolest things was the X Mansion, and like a little hey avatar look for Professor X. I thought was really cool and really kind of cute. The next thing, and really I didn't need the beta to tell you that, and I think I've mentioned it several times before, and a lot of people have, but the art style and the stages are absolutely fantastic. Uh, I don't think these are all the stages, but I think we did get most of them. So you have various stages like New York City, day and night. You got the Savage Land, you got Nowhere, you got the X Mansion, you got Wakanda. Like all the stages look absolutely awesome. Like they're very vibrant and they're very colorful. No two stages aside from like New York, aside from the two New Yorks, because obviously I guess technically that's the same place. But it doesn't feel like the stages feel too similar to each other. Like each ends up having their own different flavor when it comes to the level of detail. And it was really nice to see. And I do like how in the different trailers for the different characters and the different teams, we would get a look at a different environment, and the environments do look really nice. And the art style when it comes to these characters, like I mentioned, and you can tell a lot of time and care was put into these. Very much that anime flavor. Apparently, at first, Arc System Works wanted to be a bit more conservative with it. Because they didn't necessarily know, at least from what I'm understanding, they didn't necessarily know what if Marvel would accept them. But Marvel pretty much told them, "Hey, go nuts," and that's exactly what they did. And like all the character designs are really cool, especially with some of the characters that haven't been in who weren't in the open beta but just are on the roster, that of course being characters like Carnage, that or the characters that were missing being Carnage, Deadpool, Hulk, and Loki. He's some similarities to Marvel Rivals, but and which some people did pick up on. But still, I like of how each character looks relatively unique and does look really cool. I would definitely argue there isn't a bad character design in this game. All the characters look like they're lifted right from a comic book. Okay, and they look very cool, very detailed. Iron Man, I mentioned how he looks like a mini Gundam. Has a very sleek, cool looking suit. Spider Man, and he's somewhat sleek, but he's got a good amount of muscle to him. Carnage has a decent amount of size. Doom looks absolutely phenomenal in this game. The Penny Parker and the Spider Bot looks really sick. Like all these character designs just look fantastic, and they're very expressive. I love how expressive each character is. Not just as in the design, like from the eyeball test, but in their movement as you're fighting. Like you can tell so much time went into who the characters' movements and what they would look like and how it would translate to the game. So it's just really awesome to see. The next thing is that I put juggle combos, but really juggle combos I kind of associate more with like Tekken, but combos are definitely easy to get started. Like it definitely feels like you're able to string together combos relatively well. Oh, and like launching characters up in the air, like I think they're called launch combos. I'm still getting used to the fighting game community terms. I'm not big in the fighting game community, at least not yet, but I'm learning. But like the launcher combos are pretty easy. It feels like uh to get started in this game, and I think that's really cool, and it allows people who aren't quite as good as them, like me, to be able to do them. And a similar game that I know Otis also kind of makes me feel this way is Invincible Versus. I bought that not a few months ago, a couple weeks ago. And I played through the story mode already. The game is pretty fun. It's relatively fun, but it came out earlier this year. But Invincible Versus, I kind of get the same vibe from where it's relatively easy to launch them in the air, not quite as easy to like keep them up there. Or the only character in Invincible Versus I've been able to be able to launch, or I've been able to like launch a character in the air and continue attacking them, um, uh, and nail the air combo. The only character I feel like I've been really able to do that with is Omni Man, but um, but it's still really cool to see that in this game here. But it's the next thing, which is one of the big crux of the game, is the team up mechanic. Now, technically, this game is 4v4, but you are able to bring in characters, or as like assists, you're able to switch characters and everything. You get a character, or either way, when you get knocked out, or aka lose a round, or when you do a stage transition, which the stage transitions, I don't think I noted here, but the stage transitions are pretty easy to do. Confession, when I play Injustice, is I've played Injustice 1 and 2, who I've never been able to do a stage transition in that game. And I think I might have done it like once by like accident, but yeah, I've never been able to do a stage transition. But in this game, it feels like the stage transitions are much easier. Um, but you do get an extra character until you have all four characters accessible. And using them as assists and being able to string together your assists and having all four characters jump in is a really cool and interesting mechanic. It's a little bit strange at first. It takes a little bit getting used to, but it is pretty cool. And I compared it to how it felt in the closed beta. You can tell they definitely kind of improved it and made it a little bit easier, at least from what I remember, compared to the closed beta. So you can tell they definitely took that feedback to heart, because I know that was something that some people kind of said was a little wonky, from what I remember correctly. And I could be wrong, but I feel like that was one of the things people kind of didn't really like as much. They thought it was kind of weird from the closed beta, so it's good to see that they improved that from the closed beta and put it into the open beta here. But next up is the game does take the time to help you learn and slash master the characters, whether it be in the tutorial or they have like different characters tutorials. Now, the individual character like tutorials and training and everything, that was also locked off in the closed beta, but it is there and that's good. And they do have the like character guides on the Marvel Tokon YouTube channel, so I think that's also pretty cool, so that it helps you learn each character and kind of pick and choose which characters you'll be the best and not as good with. But the comprehensive guides to help you like master the characters, it is pretty cool. Well, it does help. It does feel very, like, I don't want to say beginner friendly, but for those who may not be as knowledgeable, well, it doesn't completely leave them behind. And I know that's been kind of a debate in the fighting game community of like having stuff more for beginners and like entry level type players. I think the best balance, and this is just my opinion personally, I think the best balance is when you have stuff that helps ease in like newcomers and everything, but also has stuff, but also has like mechanics and gameplay and everything that does also in a way cater towards the more experienced players. So essentially, in a way, it feels like everybody wins, and you do kind of have that balance. But I feel like I'm in no way qualified to talk about that, so that's kind of where I'll leave it there. But next thing on the list is that there are other noticeable improvements from the closed beta, like for like PC graphical issues aside. And if you did play it on PS5, let me know if you ran into any issues. But those issues aside, you can tell how some of the gameplay is a bit more improved from the closed beta, and that at had, they definitely took the feedback into consideration for the most part. Or things do feel a little bit snappier. I talked about the team up mechanic and everything, but it does feel like things have progressed from the closed beta to now the open beta, and now that we're close to the game's release, which is definitely how it's supposed to be done. Like the whole point is to improve and make sure that you're delivering the best possible experience and fixing and tweaking things when necessary. That was supposed to be the point of like the open, like the betas or like the early access. Granted, in some cases, the early access has been and has been kind of bastardized, but that's a topic for another time. But yeah, it's cool to see so many improvements from the closed beta. But next up, you can tell that Arc System Works were definitely fans of Marvel vs. Capcom. Like it does. Like some people will have kind of labeled this game as like the replacement and for Marvel vs. Capcom, the usurping in a way of Marvel vs. Capcom in their spots. And whether or not that's the case will remain to be seen. But you can tell they were definitely fans of Marvel vs. Capcom, as were all of us, you know. But you can tell there's a lot of stuff in the game um, that is very much homages to Marvel vs. Capcom. One of the big players, obviously, for not just fighting games, but Marvel fighting games, especially. Like Spider-Man, he kind of has a Marvel vs. Capcom pose. You have characters that were big in Marvel vs. Capcom, such as like Spider-Man, Wolverine, Captain America, and of course all the references from Deadpool, including the Doctor Doom foot dive, which surprisingly Doctor Doom doesn't have in this game, at least not from what I've seen. Uh, so you can tell while they want to do their own thing and they're going to do their own thing, and I do have a feeling Marvel Tokon's gonna be around for a little while. Oh, you can tell that they haven't forgotten the roots of the Marvel vs. Capcom games, that is. And the last thing that I noted was the oh geez, I butchered the pronunciation. The ease of use. So, I didn't even notice it until the last day of the beta. So I played it a little bit, all 3 days. Although that initial Friday, was kind of just me tinkering with the settings to make sure it runs on my PC. But I didn't notice until the last day that under each character, there's a certain star rating and it has ease of use. So the more stars is there, the harder it is to use the character. Like Wolverine, I think had like 2 stars. Or actually, no, it's the other way around. I messed it up. So the less stars means the character is harder to use, but more stars means it's easier to use. So Wolverine had 5 stars. Spider-Man, I think, had like 3 stars. Blade, I think I saw it had like 2 stars. So it was pretty cool, and it does help determine which character you want to play as and what characters you want to get good at. I can see it being an incentive. Like if there's a harder character and you want to challenge, I guess the challenge would be mastering that harder character. But I think it is a pretty cool, like whichever way you use the gauge of ease of use, it definitely serves its purpose and it is a really cool thing to have in the game. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this kind of discussion. Overall, I think the beta was pretty decent. I had fun and with it, even though I didn't get to try everything. I thought it was all right. There are some concerns. There are definitely some concerns. For instance, it's not perfect, but hopefully it's ironed out by release day. But obviously that remains to be seen. And we will be doing a launch day stream for Marvel Tokon. So follow me on Twitch at Wizard of Odd, and stay tuned for me streaming that when it comes out next Thursday. That is wizard underscore odd underscore 716. So follow me on Twitch. I might simulcast to YouTube. I'm not sure yet, but definitely follow me on Twitch. It's so that you don't miss a live stream. In fact, I'm about to go live right after I finish the vocals of this. So I'm recording this Friday night. It probably won't be out until tomorrow, aka Saturday. But yeah, follow me on Twitch at Wizard of Odd 716 so that you never miss a live stream. But In the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on those post notifications so you know every single time I upload a video so you never, ever miss an upload. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on the Marvel Tokon Open Beta and your thoughts on the closed beta. If you played both, if you played one, let me know your thoughts. And for my PS5 users, did you run into any issues like us PC folk did? Let me know. And of course, we will be doing a playthrough. I don't know if I'll be doing the same day as the launch day stream, but we will be doing a playthrough of all the chapters for the story mode for Marvel Tokon, so also stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace.